Welcome to the Saturday Cup of Joe podcast. This podcast is dedicated to EAS employees of the U.S. Postal Service and members of the National Association of Postal Supervisors. So, pour yourself a cup of coffee and join us for today's episode. And now, here's your host, Robert Wakefield.
Good morning, Branch 32, and good morning, NAPS family. From wherever you're listening, welcome to the Saturday Cup of Joe podcast, presented by the Nashville Post Office Credit Union. We're so happy that you are listening today, wherever that may be. I'm Robert Wakefield, the host and the president of Branch 32. Thank you very much. Thank you. Got a great show lined up for you today. So let's go ahead and pour that first cup. You know, banking should be made simple. That's why Ollie, the Nashville Post Office Credit Union's virtual assistant, is here, ready to help 24/7. Need quick answers? Ollie delivers secure, instant solutions right at your fingertips. No wait times, no hassle. Just smart banking made easy. Whether you're managing your finances, exploring loan options, or just need guidance, Ollie is always ready to assist, wherever and whenever you need. The Nashville Post Office Credit Union, people helping people since 1925. And for our first cup this morning, I wanted to bring in a friend of the show. She's been on many, many times, and here she is again. She is the president of the Tennessee State Branch 947. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome Donna Aaron. Donna, welcome to the Saturday Cup of Joe.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be on here with you again, Robert.
That was well said, and I will be sending you a $5 bill for the way you said that. That was absolutely fabulous. So I wanted to bring Donna on because we've got a couple of things that we wanted to talk about as far as things that are affecting NAPS members. And the first thing that I wanted to bring to everyone's attention is the agreement on the exempt managers and postmasters delivering mail. First of all, Donna, what is your opinion about managers and postmasters and supervisors delivering mail?
Well, I've had a disagreement with postmasters and supervisors out delivering mail to start out with. First off, 9 times out of 10, they're asking you to use your own vehicle, right, which puts you in a liability situation. And I don't know of anybody in Tennessee that was paid for delivering the mail like they were supposed to.
So, yeah, that's another thing. That we had this agreement with the Postal Service, and in Tennessee, it seems like that we were having trouble getting postmasters paid.
Yes.
And so it's just a bad situation. Let me read what the agreement says. This came from NAPS headquarters. It says, under the agreement, exempt postmasters level 22 and below and all station managers as of January 23rd should refrain from doing craft work because this is creating Article 8 grievances. Imagine that.
They had to know that was coming.
Well, sure. One of my members, I'll tell you this, Donna, one of my members sent me an article that was in one of these federal magazines that the Inspector General did payouts inspection to the unions, and from 2021 to 2023, I believe was the years, and the Postal Service paid out over $830 million in grievance payments. And part of it was because managers and postmasters were doing craft work.
Exactly. And the thing of it is, when you're doing the craft work, especially out in the stations, you're cutting your own throat as far as your budget is concerned.
Oh, yeah. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, if you're doing the craft work, then it's not being charged on your budget as craft work. So eventually you're going to lose those hours in your budget because you're showing that you don't need them.
Right, right. And that's where the catch-22 comes in. Is if you put it in as craft work, well, the unions are going to file a grievance and they're going to get paid, and it still show up in your budget. So it's just not a win-win for anyone, is it?
No, it's not.
Did you hear of any postmasters or supervisors if they had any accidents while they were delivering mail? I haven't heard that, but I was just curious.
Yes, I have had situations where postmasters have contacted me and said that they had an accident while out delivering the mail, and they were a little shocked that the post office was not going to cover their vehicle.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about that another time. That's a good thing to talk about. So if postmasters or supervisors are instructed to deliver the mail, what should be their response?
Their response should be, I have this notification that we're not supposed to do this anymore. And anytime you get an instruction that you have questions about that you think is not proper, you need to put it in writing to your manager. I understand that you want me to do X, Y, Z. Mm-hmm. If I am confused about this, please respond back to me. And you won't ever get a response back.
Not on email, you won't.
not in writing. They'll probably call you and go, what are you doing? And I would just say, I'm covering myself here because you're asking me to do something that headquarters has said don't do it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So this whole thing, they kept extending, the Postal Service kept extending this agreement on and on and on until January 23rd. And I'm assuming, and I have no inside knowledge of this, I'm assuming it's because of the amount of grievance payments that they were making.
The grievance payments, I think, had something to do with it. Now, I don't know this for a fact, but I know in Tennessee we had 7 cases where they tried to come back and take pay from postmasters who were working. There was never a dispute that they were actually working, but they got extra pay. And they tried to take it back. Yeah.
That is so bad. That is so bad. So that's the first thing that I wanted to talk about. So if you are a supervisor or a postmaster and you are instructed to carry mail, that agreement no longer is valid. It ended on January 23rd. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about, Donna, and this is something we've talked about before, I think, is that I'm hearing that there's been a crackdown on tea time, and they don't want any supervisors getting tea time. So talk a little bit what tea time is, what that looks like, and how that's administered.
Well, that is anytime a supervisor who is designated as a special exempt. And if you're special exempt, you can earn extra straight pay on anything you work over 8.5 hours.
Okay.
So if you're on the clock for more than 8.5 hours, then you earn extra straight pay.
Okay, so
not overtime.
It's not overtime. It's not overtime like the unions get, but it is extra time. And so they call that tea time. If you ever hear any supervisors or postmasters talk about tea time, that's what this is. It's in section 434.144 is where you find this. And it says FLSA special exempt employees and EAS 18 positions and below are eligible for EAS additional pay if authorized to work over 8.5 hours on a scheduled day. So talk about if authorized. That seems to be an important part of it.
Yes. And the thing of it is, I know we had this situation in the plants a few years ago where they said, nobody works over 8 hours.
Okay.
Nobody gets tea time. And the thing I told them, first off, I don't understand why y'all upset about it.
Right.
At 7.5 hours, you notify your manager, here's what I got left. I'm going home in 30 minutes.
Please
and then
advise.
they have to respond back to you
Right.
to tell you, hey, wait a minute, I'm not going to cover your job for you, so you're going to have to stay. Okay, well then you've just been authorized.
Exactly. Did you have that a lot at the plant when you were there? I mean, did they do that to you guys?
When I was working at the plant, I never had my boss tell me not to stay because they always wanted me to stay. And even when I didn't want to stay, they wanted me to stay.
Right.
But, every now and then it's kind of like overtime with craft employees. You'll have upper management say no more overtime. And then you follow their instructions, and then the mail gets backed up, and then it's like, oh, we've got to use overtime again.
Right.
It's the same thing with tea time.
Exactly. So you think this is just another flavor of the month?
I think it is. And usually at the first of the year and towards the end of the physical year, like getting close to August and September, we see this happen. Mm-hmm. No more tea time. We got to watch our hours and all this stuff. That's usually when you see this. They won't say it during peak season.
Right.
It's always right after peak season. We want to cut back on hours, and then right before the end of the physical year, they'll do it.
Right.
And
go ahead.
That's just how it is. And the thing of it is, they're wanting you to work off the clock.
That's it.
And I highly, disagree with anybody working off the clock.
Okay. So let me ask you this question, because that's exactly where I was going to go next. If this person is told that they have to work over their 8.5 hours and they're saying, get off the clock but finish the job, what should the response be?
I'm not working off the clock.
That's it, isn't it?
Yeah, just simple. I'm not working off the clock.
Because we had that instance where the supervisor on an icy situation, she was off the clock, and she fell, and she had a concussion. And the Postal Service didn't want to take care of her because she was supposed to. What are you still doing here? You weren't supposed to be working. So
exactly,
it's a safety issue along with everything else, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Because if you get hurt and you're not on the clock and you're in the building, it's going to be a problem. Mm-hmm. They're going to look at disciplining you, possibly even trying to fire you because you got hurt and you weren't on the clock.
Right. Well, that is great, Donna. I really do appreciate you coming on today and talking about these two issues. The extended exempt employees are no longer to be carrying mail or doing craft work, and also tea time, which seems to be a very popular subject right now. Thanks so much for joining us today, Donna. We really do appreciate it.
Always enjoy it, Robert.
All right. We'll talk soon, I feel sure.
I feel sure we will.
All right. Have you visited our website lately? The Nashville Post Office Credit Union's website makes banking easy. You can complete transactions, you can apply for some loans, and now you can explore our brand new events page created to honor our 100th anniversary. Stay connected with updates, celebrations, and special member-exclusive events. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram to stay even more connected. Visit npocu.org. The Nashville Post Office Credit Union, people helping people since 1925. And for our second cup today, if you've ever wondered how Valentine's Day became such a big deal in America, that story really comes down to one woman, Esther Howland of Worcester, Massachusetts. I think that's how you say that. She didn't make Valentines. She invented the American Valentine industry. When Esther grew up in the 1820s as the daughter of a stationeer, she was surrounded by fine papers, lace, decorative supplies. In other words, she had the perfect childhood for someone who would one day transform a holiday. But the spark didn't come until 1847 when she received an ornate English valentine with layers of lace, embossed paper, and bright illustrations. It was beautiful, delicate, and unlike anything being made in the United States. Now, most people would have admired it and moved on, but Esther looked at it and thought, we can do that. We can do this here and maybe do it even better. So she created a few sample cards of her own, those intricate, layered, full of charm cards, and handed them to her brother, who was a traveling salesman. And she hoped that he might bring back a few small orders. Instead, he returned with hundreds of orders. And suddenly, Esther had a business before she even had a business plan. And when she started making those cards, people loved them. Esther's Valentines spread across the country, turning a small handwritten tradition into a booming cultural moment. By the late 1800s, factories were producing Valentines by the millions, and the Postal Service was dealing with massive February mail surges. So that's why Esther Howland is remembered as the mother of the American Valentine. She just didn't make cards. She shaped a tradition, and every time someone opens a Valentine's today, whether it's sweet, funny, or sentimental, they're touching a little piece of a legacy that she started. So, happy Valentine's Day to all NAPS members, and thank you so much for listening to the Saturday Cup of Joe podcast, presented by the Nashville Post Office Credit Union. Please share this and like this podcast with every NAPS member that you know. And if you want to drop us a line, you can do that at napsbranch32.org and just use the chat feature at the bottom right-hand corner. We would love to hear from you. So thank you so much for listening. We really do appreciate it. And remember, every great weekend starts with a great cup of Joe. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to the Saturday Cup of Joe podcast. Please note that the views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of Robert Wakefield and do not necessarily reflect the views of the National Association of Postal Supervisors. We welcome your questions and comments, so send those to SaturdayCupOfJoe@gmail.com.